Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
We've talked about it. I've reviewed the Galaxy S5. It's been out for a while now. And as Samsung did with the Galaxy S4, they've released some variants on it. This is the sport model of the Galaxy
This is the
S5.
sport edition of the phone. The things that this is basically everything that you get in the Galaxy S5. What you're doing is you're sacrificing a little bit of thickness for ruggedness and a few other features built in. The main feature is that this is waterproof. Or not waterproof, but water resistant for a little while.
The term waterproof / water resistant. There are technical definitions for this. What level of water resistance does it have?
This one is, I believe it's 30 feet for 30 minutes.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
nobody, believe me, you don't want to
in.
go down 30 feet unless you've got...
Right, exactly. I'm actually trying to find exactly what that was.
They give it a letter designation. That's fine.
Right.
I don't want to throw you on that.
The other thing that this has, just like the S5, is a heart rate monitor on the back. So you can place your finger over this sensor and it will test your heart rate. Other than that, the specs are a 16 megapixel shooter on the back, a 2 megapixel shooter on the front. This is 5.1-inch display. This is a 1080 display, so that's 430 pixels per inch. Of course, Android, it's 4.4.2. and with lots of TouchWiz. So if you start getting in here, you'll notice TouchWiz kind of right off the bat, especially in apps and settings and things like that. All your settings have different drop downs and a much different look than your normal Android. On top of that, they've added a lot of apps to sort of bring this phone to a more sporty feel when it comes to the apps that they bundle in. This is the Sprint version, so it has Sprint Fit Live over here on the home screen. You can uninstall that, and then it also has this little pull down over here, which has Map My Fitness and S Health as well, and that's always on the home screen, unless if you get a different home screen.
And S Health is part of all of the Galaxy phones. I'm not sure about Map My Fitness. You think that's unique to this Sport Edition?
I haven't seen the original.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember Map My Fitness, so maybe that's something just for that.
Okay, and it also has these people in the background that look like they're running. So
that's
get motivated.
Well, there you go.
Absolutely. I hope that you're excited about your
Makes
S5
me want to leap
Sport.
to my feet and yawn. I mean,
right. And of course, it has like the magazine features. It has all these the Samsung TouchWiz features, and then lots of bloatware. This whole page, they gave you a whole page of bloatware.
Yeah.
On top of that, they put the Sprint bloatware in its own little folder, so you can use this to uninstall everything.
That is, by the way, ingress protection rating 67.
Oh. Well, now you know.
I looked it up.
Sorry that what I was saying before wasn't quite clear enough for you. Ingress level 67.
That tests for dust intrusion and water submersion, only a meter for 30 minutes.
A meter for 30 minutes.
The big difference.
So I was thinking 30
feet
times
for 30 minutes.
centimeters for 30 minutes.
You're absolutely right. It's 1,000 millimeters.
It's 1,000 millimeters.
You're absolutely right.
Think about that. 1,000, folks.
It does say it's not shockproof. So
But this is the rugged design. This is the sport. This is what you get. Okay, well, that's crazy. Looking around the hardware, you got the headphone jack on the top. You have a power button on the side, which is nicely placed for your thumb. At the bottom, this is a micro USB charger on the bottom, hidden behind a door here. This is a little bit intrusive, but that's what you have to deal with.
That's for the
in order to get the waterproof.
I'm sorry, the ingress protection.
Ingress.
Yes.
Ingress, the protection. There you go.
Yes.
You have a volume rocker on the back. The buttons on the front are tactile. These are physical buttons, which I actually really enjoyed. I really like
that's a
having
big difference.
real buttons.
Because the regular S5 only has one home button.
Yeah.
And then the rest are on screen.
Yeah, so no
that's
capacitive buttons, which means that if it gets wet or something, you could still hit the home button without the screen screwing up because it's haptic. capacitive. And so that I actually really like these physical buttons, which definitely sets the
That's
sport
different,
apart.
yeah. So that's, if you want physical buttons, that's one of the few phones today that still has physical.
Right.
All physical buttons.
All physical real buttons.
Yeah.
The back sort of has the rubber. This is, if you want a different style of Band-Aid back, you can get the S5. You know, people are making fun of the Note.
They call this electric blue, and I find it shocking.
There's a few different colors, so they'll have blue and red and those sets of colors. So if you really want some sort of metallic color for your phone, this Sport is where it's at. It also does have a SIM card, or it has not only a SIM card but a
SD card.
micro SD card
and
slot.
Removable back, which is great.
And removable back.
In fact, a little surprising on a waterproof phone.
Now, it will remind you every chance that it gets that you need to make sure to plug this thing up with pop-ups that definitely feel like pop-up ads. Every single time that you do something like remove the back or open this thing up to charge it. Oh, and you also have to make sure that you have to put in the bottom first, otherwise there's no hope. There's absolutely no hope if you don't do that. Now the battery life. I found the battery life on this phone was fantastic. It was really, really good. I took some screenshots of over 24 hours of having this phone on. I was really, really, really impressed with battery life. Camera performance was also pretty good. So here's a screenshot of the battery. Come on. Oh, there we go. This was 2 days and an hour.
Wow.
Now, granted, I had just reset the phone. So I had used this phone for about a week and a half when I customized everything. I changed the home screen. I did everything. And then I reset the phone back to stock so that I could play around with the stock apps that it comes with. And so this was the kind of a day of it kind of just sitting on standby on my desk. I used
What's the screen on time? Because that's really the key on that.
Screen on time is down here. Does it say? Is there?
I don't see it. It's a graph.
Yeah, it's just a graph. So down here is screen on time. And then I picked it back up and used it for the rest of the day. Yeah. So this is 2 days. If you're someone who doesn't pick up your phone and use it a lot, I could easily see this stretching even further. So I was really, really impressed with battery life. When it comes to the camera, you're going to have sort of the same camera that is on all of the Samsung devices. That feels a little bit difficult to get into because there's so many different modes, there's so many different features, there's beauty face. Every single time you put the phone into selfie mode, into using the front-facing camera, it automatically turns on beauty face, which I think is funny. Huh? Now, oh, look, you want to take some flawless photos?
Here's beauty face.
So yeah, sure, I'll take some beauty face photos.
Beautiful.
There we go. Absolutely.
Nothing it can do for me, but
better
you look
than those
good.
beauty
You
face. Look at that. I look like I have the tiniest head.
A duck face.
Wow.
That's not a beauty face.
In general, I found that the camera was fine. It does have a flash, which is really nice. There's some photos of my cats in my sock drawer. Some Snapchat photos, and then some kombucha photos. Anyway, generally I found that the camera was really good. So for the pros, it's waterproof and it's dust resistant as well. It's rugged, which I really liked, and the battery life was really, really good.
As long as you don't use it.
Well, I mean, I used it. Well, then I also used, I used it on a normal basis, and it lasted me throughout the day with 20% battery at the end of the day. So overall I was very happy with that.
Now this is a Sprint exclusive, I think.
This is Sprint version.
Yeah.
For the cons, I'd have to give it the software was very, very annoying. So unless if you plan, basically I wouldn't recommend this phone unless if you're going to tweak it in the software department.
Or you love Samsung.
Or you really love
a lot
Samsung phones, a ton.
That was my complaint about the regular S5. It's just larded up with Samsung stuff.
God, it's horrible. Yeah. It's horrible. Also on the cons, I did not like this design. I gotta say, it's flashy. It's kind of absurd.
Plastic looks cheap.
It looks cheap. I really was kind of embarrassed taking this phone out of my pocket.
I want to do something here.
I've seen all the colors.
Before you give us your buy and don't buy, do the heart rate monitor, because I happen to
yes.
have here a medical grade heart rate monitor. That
Absolutely.
One of our fans who's visiting from New Mexico. Is Jim? Yes. Jim from New Mexico.
So put my finger on it, hit
Yeah.
OK. It says,
because it's got a light on the back, and you put your finger on it and you have to measure it. It looks like you've got 89 bits per minute. Now, let's try this medical grade heart rate monitor. This also measures blood oxygen, which the Samsung does not. Everybody's asking, does it make phone calls? Were you able to make?
It does make phone calls.
It does make phone calls. All right.
I was able to make phone calls.
What's your heart rate there? Here it comes.
So the beats
88.
per minute is 88.
I think that's close enough for government work.
So we might actually be able to do this like both at the same
simultaneously.
time. I wonder.
It's within a beat. I think that's good enough.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess it's within a beat. At least yeah. We know it's not skipping a beat.
So it's fairly accurate. That's also good. So now we get the bottom line. Buy, try, don't buy.
Buy, try, don't buy. I would say on this phone, buy. It's leaning towards try.
Not an enthusiastic
It's not
buy.
an enthusiastic buy. The thing is, I felt this was a very solid phone. It was fast, battery life was great, and it has some cool features. It's hard to recommend to someone who I know isn't going to tweak it, because when I used this phone and I deleted the apps I didn't want, I changed the home screen, and I changed it, this was my daily driver. The moment that I reset it back to factory and tried to live with it based off of Samsung's apps that they put onto the phone, I basically didn't want to pick it up and use it, because there's just pop-ups all the time and extra features on the home screen I don't care about. I'd accidentally click them when I was aiming for another app. It just became a really frustrating experience. I still feel like the hardware is a great phone. So if you're going to tweak it, buy it.
Did you go diving to the depth of 1,000 millimeters?
We did dunk it in water, but...
And it survived?
It survived.
Well, that's good enough.
Right. So it's a buy. Please tweak it. Please delete all of Samsung stuff off of it.
It's kind of our general attitude towards Samsung stuff. It's fine if they wouldn't just
If this was
crap
for your
it up.
grandma...
If the Google Play Edition, they don't offer a Google Play Edition, but if they did, then it'd be a no-brainer.
Right.